Hey everyone, it's Arminder here, and what I have here are 3 samples that were sent to me by PM Spirits. They are a spirits importer, and they import in Alambique Serrano here in the US. And what they did was send me the first 3 single casks from the Vida Nativa Series from Alambique Serrano. Now, I've already covered the Pico Canoia, which was the blend that's part of that series. You can watch that video here. But I'm really excited to try for the very first time the first 3 single casks. And what I'm gonna do is obviously taste them, kind of give you my initial gut reaction to them, but share some tasty notes for each one of them, and then ultimately answer the question, if I could only buy one of these 3, assuming I like at least one of them, assuming I could only buy one of them, which one would I buy? And maybe that'll be useful information for you. So now all 3 of these rums are wild fermented cane juice rums that are pot distilled. Single cask number 1 is the Cañamazo. It's bottled at 59.7% ABV. And looking at my notes here, it's aged 2 years in new French oak and then finished 3 months in a new Hungarian oak cask. The second one is the Venado Temazate, bottled at 62.5% ABV. It's aged 22 months in a new French oak cask and then finished 2.5 months in a new acacia cask. And lastly, we have single cask number 3, the Perro de agua. It's aged 22 months in a new acacia cask and then finished 4 months in an ex-red wine cask. And it's bottled at 62.9% ABV. All right, enough talking, and let's start pouring. Gonna let these open up a little bit real quick. All right, let's start with cask number 1. Oh, that nose is my jam. It's like cardamom. It's like a cardamom baked good of some kind. Cardamom cookie or cardamom bun. And that cardamom note I've gotten in other Alambique Serrano rums in their blends, 1 or 2 of them. And I absolutely love the taste and smell of cardamom. So this is this is very nice. All right, here goes. Cheers. Ooh. So I got a big hit of maybe cardamom, some sort of like strong baking spice note. Really love the cardamom on that. Yeah, there's a sweet barbecue kind of thing. It's not strong. I've had other rums that have a stronger barbecue thing. This is definitely subtler, but I kind of like it. That push-pull between the smoky sweet thing that you get in barbecue chips or any kind of barbecue flavor, I guess. But I don't know, my mind just went to Lay's. Great body, good texture, really enjoyable. Yeah, that is a freaking delight, at least based on the 2 sips I've had. Really enjoying that. Let's move on to cask number 2. Ooh, this definitely different than the other one. This almost has like a slight medicinal thing happening on the aroma, but also like a savory tomato paste kind of thing. I'd say this is a intriguing aroma. Anyways, let's take a sip. Cheers. Whoa, this went in places I didn't expect it to go. All right, I'm gonna say some weird stuff. There's, in the middle, there's a little bit of bitterness, and then it tastes a little bit like lipstick. And I know you might be saying, well, how do you know what lipstick tastes like? To that I'd say, well, obviously I've eaten lipstick before. I'm not like a monster. Yeah, I don't know, it just evoked the smell of lipstick to me. That is interesting. Not something I'm immediately like wowed by. I'm kind of interested in kind of trying to figure out what's going on with that flavor though. Okay, let's move on to the last one, cask number 3. I'm getting a little bit of like a underripe apple kind of thing. There's also maybe like a little bit of berry, like a dark berry. I mean, almost like a little bit of nuttiness. Kind of sort of veering into plastic territory too. Anyways, let's take a sip. Cheers. Ooh. So this starts off with like a familiar caramelly kind of thing, which is nice because it then also takes you on a bit of a ride. A little bit of a bitterness thing happening here. This one feels like it has the most heat to it. Feels like it's really tightly packed in terms of the flavors. There's that initial caramel, but then there's a little earthy, dusty element here, some bark, some leaves, maybe a little bit of turmeric. I feel like with some water, this might loosen up a little bit and kind of be a little more clear in terms of like what's going on. So I'd say this on at least the first couple of sips on all 3 of them. The first one is the most welcoming, most comforting, most kind of approachable. Initially, like I'd say, if I were to drink one right now again, it would be the first one. But I'm also like a big sucker for cardamom. But even if you weren't, I think there's a lot of familiar territory here that's good rum. The other two are, they're doing those slightly weirder, more unique things. That second one especially, that is doing something really interesting. All right, so I've added a little bit of water to all three of them, and let's see what happens. Still cardamom, but now I'm getting maybe a little bit of like toffee note here, a little kind of underlying sweetness. It's kind of nice, actually. Now it's kind of like a candied cardamom. Yeah, I feel like now I lose that barbecue thing that I was talking about. It has great mouthfeel. That cardamom just kind of now kind of has this nice even spread, and it kind of goes all the way into the finish, where before, without the water, it was cardamom up front, and then it was doing that barbecue thing. Here again, this nice, long, little, lovely, light touch of cardamom that I still love. Yeah, really do. It's changed, not radically, but there is a perceivable change with the water that I am enjoying. If I want a more smoked cardamom thing with a little bit more kind of lushness throughout, I'd go with the water. But I am kind of sort of missing that barbecue with it neat, so I might go either way depending on what kind of mood I'm in. All right, cask number 2. It kind of even tastes more like a lipstick to me. I don't know why I'm so hung up on this lipstick thing. It kind of stretches that note, that whatever I'm calling as lipstick right now. I'm sure at some point if I were to try more of this, I'd have a better, more precise word for it, but right now we're just going to lipstick. That's now spread it out where I'm getting it kind of from beginning to end, where before it felt like it was really kind of in the middle, and then middle forward, middle and the back and the finish. Or maybe not even the finish, but now it's really spread that lipstick out like all over my lips. Now with the water, maybe there's a little bit of some of that kind of earthy quality that I got in the third one. I'm kind of getting here. There's some like twigs, branch kind of situation happening here, underlying that little lipstick note. I don't think that rum is necessarily for me. I think it's very interesting, and I'd love to get other people's thoughts on it. Right now, I'm not really vibing with it. All right, and the last cask number 3. Ooh, now I'm getting a little coffee caramel on the aroma. Kind of reminds me of kind of like some El Dorado rums. Yeah, this in a way, it's kind of heightened that earthy spice note, that turmeric or whatever it is. Yeah, it's really kind of brought it to the forefront, though it has added a little bit of richness and body just by adding the water, which I think I'd prefer drinking this with the water than without the water. I wouldn't say I'm in love with it, but I like it. And I would want to maybe drink a little more in a different occasion to kind of really kind of land on how I feel about it. But yeah, I think ultimately, I think it's pretty obvious where I land here. Really do actually quite dig, and I don't want to throw the L word out, love, but maybe I love that cask number 1. It's doing exactly what I want when it comes to baking spices, and when it comes to baking spices, I want cardamom all day, every day, or I want clove, and this has that in spades. It has a little bit of richness to it. It's a delectable rum, with or without water. Having had the sample, I definitely want to go out and buy a bottle for myself. And frankly, I would say that's the one you want to get if you want to play in a if you want to play in a safer space. You know what I mean? If you don't want any wild card elements here, but you want something tasty, delicious, but not necessarily challenging. Because I don't think the cardamom is challenging. I think it's a nice, bright, warm accent that the rum gives you. So that is what I would say if you were only going to buy one without having tried any of them. My recommendation would be cask number 1, Cañamazo. But then I think if you're looking for something a little more challenging, then I'd probably recommend Single Cask number 3 with that turmeric note, that earthy, dusty kind of thing, which is kind of interesting and intriguing. And then cask number 2, yeah, it's just not for me. Not for me, and so I don't know if I can really recommend it. Now, maybe you're asking, well, okay, clearly you like single cask number 1, but how does it compare to blend number 1, right? The other Vida Nativa release of the Pico Canoa, which I have back here, and I did a whole video on recently. Two very, very different rums, right? This was playing in more familiar spaces, caramel and baking spice, rich notes, really nice, familiar. It feels like a rum. The blend number 1, the Pico Canoa, is a Jolly Rancher watermelon, Jolly Rancher fruit bomb. Like it tastes nothing like anything I've had from Alambique Serrano. So it's like, where do you want to land on it? You want something a little wild? Not wild like this. That one's not challenging. This one is challenging and wild. That one's wild and fun and delightful, you know? Fruity, sweet watermelon, all of that. But it's atypical in my whatever experience I had with Alambique Serrano. So I think for me, if I had to pick between blend number 1 and cask number 1, I'm gonna go with blend number 1 because I have other rums and 1 or 2 rums from Alambique Serrano that have that cardamom note that I really like. So I've already got that box kind of ticked off, but I don't have a watermelon bomb like blend number 1. So if I had to pick, I'd go with that. But no, it's going to be a very unique, very singular experience. So that may or may not be for you, but I adore it. Anyways, those are my conclusions. Those are my thoughts. If you want to support this channel, check out my Patreon page. I have a bunch of exclusive content there that I think you might like. And if you sign up for one of the paid tiers, you get access to the Rum Revival Discord server where you get to chat with other rum lovers all about rum. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Cheers.